Everyone, and welcome back to our next lesson. In this lesson is basically a continuation of our HTML and CSS course, where this is the final project that we're going to build. So as you can see, we have our fake company that we have here, DT company, old kitchens and stuff like that. But basically, it's not the most beautiful website, but it's just a basic website where we can be able to learn and just use the tools that we have learned in the full course of HTML and CSS. So basically, we got our nav bar, we got our images that we can work with, full width images, and obviously our flex box right there, our services, and obviously we have our flex box again there, and a footer. Yep. So basically this is the website we'll be building today. So before we get into that, or just check something. So the home, about, services and contact, these pages won't work. So it's only the home page. You, as a side project, you can obviously just add your own content there. Right. So let's get started. All right, the first thing that you're going to do is we're going to right click on our desktop. We're going to say new folder, and we're just going to call this kitchens. I'm just going to call it kitchens. You can call it whatever you want. So, and then what we're going to do is we're going to right click and then we're going to say open with Visual Code. Basically the Visual Code right there. I've got Visual Studio right here. That's a different application. So for you, just going to open with code. Right, so after I clicked it, it opened Visual Studio Code for me like this. But what you can do is I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger like that. Okay, so that's the next step. And in your Explorer window right here, you're just going to right click and you're going to say new folder, and we're going to say CSS. And we're going to say a new folder again, then we're going to type img for images, and then we're going to say new file, and we're going to say index.html. Right, so then we got our HTML right there, and in our CSS we're going to, in that folder, we're going to type in style.css. Okay, so this is very basic. So for the guys that already know CSS, this might be a little bit boring, but I just want to kind of take it a slow process to kind of get everyone on the same page, especially the guys that just finished the course. Okay. Right. So the first thing that you're going to do on your index file, you're going to type in the exclamation mark. This is an Emmet abbreviation, and what it does, if you click it, it kind of creates a skeleton document, a skeleton HTML document for you, so that you don't have to kind of type all of this out yourself. So it just makes it easier. So let's do that again. So exclamation, you press enter, and then voila, there you got your document right there. Okay. So obviously there's a couple of meta tags missing, so let's fill them in. So the first meta that we have for name and description, content, this, I'm just going to type in something. This is a kitchen company, just as an example. All right, then you close it off. Just remember to close it off there, and you're going to type in a new meta. The name would be author, and kind of keep everything neat and tidy. So the next one, you're going to type in author. You're going to just say John Doe or whatever your name is. Okay. Right, so then what we're going to do, so we filled in our meta. Let me just put in a comment. This is our meta description, meta tag. Let me just put meta tags. Okay. The next one we're going to have is our style sheet. Right, So the one that we linked right there, the style sheet right here, we're going to link it right here. So we're going to play link. Right, so style sheet, so the href, put in CSS / style CSS. And then type, put just text, CSS. Right. Now, there's two things that we need as well for the website. We're going to need fonts. So as you guys learned in the videos, how to and the lessons of CSS, how to get fonts in, and also how to get icons in. All right. So let's quickly bring in. I'm just going to put here Google Fonts. I'm going to put Google Fonts right there, and here I'm going to put in font awesome icons. The reason why I do this is kind of it makes it easier for you to see your code and know what is. So let's quickly go to our browser and get some Google Fonts. Alright, so we're in our browser. So what we're going to do is we can just type in Google Fonts. So I'm just going to make it a little bigger for you guys. So what you do right here, you click on it. Now there's two fonts that we're going to need. The first one is Roboto. So I click on Roboto and we need the 400, like the 500 medium, obviously the 700. So let's go back. Right, if you click this button right here, view your selected families, you can click that. For us, what we're going to do is we're going to say browse fonts. So right here, you're going to type in Playfair. So let's click on this one, and then you're going to select the 400, 600. That's it. So we're selecting those two fonts, as you can see. So then you click this part of the menu again, right there. So now we have our link. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click there, you're going to say copy the link. Go back to VS Code. Right, so then we can do copy and paste. Right, so we just pasted our Google Fonts in right there. So now we have two fonts. Okay, so we got our one font for Google Font, and then we have our for the Roboto font, my bad, Roboto font, the 400, 500, 700, and the Playfair font of 400 and 600. Right, so the next step will be to add our font awesome link. Right, so we're back at our browser. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in font awesome, press enter, and all right, I made it 190% so you guys can see. So you will see fontawesome.com. So you click on this one. All right, now in order to use this, you can create a free account. So what you can do, you start for free, then you will require your sign up details. I'm already registered with Font Awesome. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to sign in right there. Let me just make this bigger as well. So I'm just going to sign in right here. Okay. So once you finish registered, you can just sign in. All right. So once you signed in, so we obviously, this is my account. I got a free account, and what we can do is we can use our kit. Come down, you will see Font Awesome Kits. I created a kit, so then you can just click Manage Kit, and you can obviously just create your own. So yep, and I'm not using Pro Services. This is new for me. Right, so what you can obviously do, you can say new kit, and you can create a new kit as well. And I'm just gonna select the kit that I already have. Right, so then you will have your window right here. Then you just copy the key code. And then you paste it in right here. Okay, so, and that's it. So now you have your font awesome. You have your Google fonts, you have your font awesome, and you've got your style sheet all linked. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to fill in our title. So let me just do this and just type in the title. You don't have to do all of this that I'm doing, but it's nice to kind of comment your sections out like this as well. So the title that we're going to do is DT Company. Let's call it DT Kitchens. You can call it whatever you want, and then we just call it this home page. Okay, so then we have finished our header, our meta tags, our Google fonts, our font awesome, our style sheet, and our title are all linked. So the next part is we're going to fill in our body side with some content. All right, so let's start. All right, I just created this quickly so that the video cannot be too long, because we don't want to keep you guys too long. So all I've did is I created a header, and inside the header I created a container class with the opening and closing div tags, and then we have our navigation bar, right, and then we have our UL, and then we have our logo right there. So I'm just going to change this, kitchens. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it section by section. So I'm going to style this part as well. So let's go to our CSS and do the styling quickly. All right, so let's go. Just want to show you, this is how our lovely website is looking like at the moment. And we're just going to add some styling to make it look a little bit better. Okay, so let's go. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to select our universal selector. And what we will do is we're going to give it a margin of 0 and a padding of 0. So that means there will be no padding or no margin. Okay, and the box sizing, I'm going to do border box. Right, so let's quickly do this, and our next one will be our header. So what we can do is, let me show you guys a little trick, because you're going to write lots of code. So the first thing that we will do is like this. You're going to say table of content. So number 1, this will be our header. Okay, so what we can do now is we're going to do this, and then we're just going to type in number 1 header. Right, so this kind of, if you open your window, so then you will kind of see where everything is, so you can kind of neatly structure your CSS as well. So we're going to put number 1 our header. So let's quickly do our header and give our header a background color. Okay, so let's give it a background color of 333 and change the font color to white. Okay, so let's see how that looks like. All right, so this is what we got so far. As you can see, we got our DT Kitchens homepage right there. So let me zoom in, make it a little bit bigger. Right about there. Okay, so we can see we got it there. So let's continue. All right, so the next thing that we're going to have is we're going to have our UL, unordered list, and we're going to put it list style as none. So it means we're removing the bullet points from there. And then we're going to do our A tag. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a text declaration of none. Okay, I just quickly moved our UL and our, so what I've done is just add the general tab, and I just put it this UL and A just under general, is that is nothing really to do with the header. It's got indirectly to do with the header, but it will affect other content as well. So let's do it like this. Okay, the next one that we're going to have is we're going to have our nav, and this one, like the previous lessons that we learned, we're going to say display flex. Okay, so we're going to display it flex. Right, so I just quickly added this. Justify content space between, align item center, and we give it some padding. So let's see how this looks like in our browser. Now, as you can see, we displayed the navbar flag. So we got our logo on one side, and then we got our navigation. So very, very easy, very nice to do. So let's continue. Just wanted to show the flex item quickly. So as you can see, we got our nav right there. And this item, this is a flex item, and this is a flex item. Okay, so when we display flex, you will have your logo there, and you have your URL here. And when you say space between, there will be space between these items. So one will be on the left, and one will be on the right. Okay, so enough of that. Let's continue. Alright, so let's just add our container class here as well. Container. So we can just say max width of 1150 pixels, and then we can just want to say margin 0 top and bottom, and auto left and right. So let's see how what this does for us. Now, as you can see, it actually just spaced our content appropriately. Just you see, we got our margin there, and it kind of just center our content. Very, very nice. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit. We cannot see the blue right there yet, but we're going to style that now. So let's style that quickly. As you can see, we're doing the nav, UL, LIA. Let me show you why I do that. So we got our nav right there. We got our UL, LI, and then we have our A tag right there. And we want to style this tag right here. Okay, so do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a color of white. Okay, give it a font size of 1 rem. Okay, well, let's give it some padding. We're going to give it 0.5 rem top and bottom, 0.75 rem left and right. And then we're going to add some transition. You guys can see all the things that you have learned kind of gets into its fruition here. So you can just kind of learn. So all to, let's say, 200 milliseconds, and we want to use the ease. Okay, so the next part that we're going to do is we're going to do the hover state. So I just copy it down and hover. So we're going to change the color. Let's change the color to, alright, I changed the color to that. We don't need this. And what we can do is change the background color. You know what? Let's do this. Change the background color to that, and this color to maybe that. Let's see how this looks like. Alright, so this is how it looks like at the moment. As you can see, we have our hover state over our nav bar right there. I know it's not the prettiest thing, but it's just learning the concepts from our previous course of HTML and CSS. Okay, so let's go back to VS Code. Let me just make it a bit bigger. Alright, so let's go back. I don't really like the font, so what I'm going to do is we already got our roboter font in. So I'm just going to do on the body, just going to change the font. Okay, so I quickly did that. So we changed the font family to Roboto, and the background color to this, and the font weight to 300. Okay, so just make 300 in Roboto. Now we have 400, so we can change this just to 400. Okay, so let's save this. Okay, let's continue with our header. So the next thing that we have in our header is, let's see, so we style this now. Now we need just to style the logo there. Okay, so let's quickly style our logo. Right, so what we're going to do is logo. Now for the logo, we used a different font. So let's quickly just change that font. Right, so we got our Playfair there, and we change the font size to 2 frame. So let's see how this looks like. Okay, so we got our background color happening there. We got our Roboto font that's changed, and we got our logo right there. But this part must be golden, so we're going to change that in a sec. Right, so let's do that. Type in logo and our span, and we're just going to give it a color of, you've got your named colors like goldenrod. So I'm just going to choose this, but it's actually that color as well. So I'm just going to change it to hexadecimal color. So that's where we get that from. So it's actually goldenrod. Okay, so let's save this. As you can see, there it is. So we're moving along quickly. We're already 22 minutes in. I don't want to make this too long for you guys. So let's quickly style the rest. All right, so let's add our another section. Section with an ID. So you put the right there of hero. So this section will automatically get so there's kind of a shortcut. So if you want to type in, include an ID in your div or whatever element you have. So section, hashtag of hero. So this one will be the one with our image. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do. Okay, so the next thing we're going to add there quickly is a div with a class. So that's our class, a hero overlay. So let's do that. So leave it just like it is. So you don't need to, just keep it like that. So let me just put this comment there of hero. Right, so the next one we're going to have is our container. You see the class that we created in the beginning. So this one here, that we created in CSS, we're going to can use it again. Right, so in our container, we're going to add our content. In our content, what we're going to do is we're going to add our content wrapper. Right, so we have our content wrapper, and then we're just going to add our content right here. So the first thing that we're going to do now is we're going to add an H1 with a class of heading. So I'm going to a little bit quick. I don't want to make this video too long for you guys. So in heading, we're going to just type in here, we build beautiful kitchen. So we do that. And the next part, we're going to add just a paragraph, and then we're going to add some dummy tags, lorem 50. Right, so we have our content right here. And of course, the last thing we need underneath this is our button. So let's add a button there. Hey, it's not going to go anywhere. And Right, so this is our hero section that we have. So let's get styling. So let's see how this quickly looks like in our browser. Not very pretty. So let's quickly make it pretty and just kind of style everything accordingly. Okay, let's go to CSS. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to just add another tab, and we're going to put this hero so that we know. So then we go down and we just add our 3, and we just put our hero section right here. Okay, quite easy. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to style the hero section. So we're going to put the hash symbol as an ID. So we're going to select the ID, and we're going to position the hero section relative, where you will see why in a second. And then we're going to give it a background image. Okay, we don't have any backgrounds yet. I will just copy the couple of images in there that I have, and I will quickly show you how to get them. Okay, so what I've done is I just copy and pasted them in there. So, but let me quickly show you how to get these images. Go to Firefox, got it there. Now, the search engine you're going to search for is obviously going to use Google as a search engine. Sorry, but the domain that you're going to use is Unsplash. Just quickly type in Unsplash. Then you'll get this nice little window search result, unsplash.com. Now, what I've done here is I just put in kitchens, right? And as you can see, my images that it might be different for you, but just pick any image that you want. But the one that I obviously had is not here right now, as I downloaded it earlier. But you can obviously choose any image you want and just download it from here as well. So you just click the download button right there. Okay, so then you can copy them down and paste them in that folder that you created in your desktop. Let me show you. So this is your folder. You open it, then you go to your images, and then what you do is you just paste them inside there as well. All right, very, very easy and nice. Let's go back to VS Code. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to put in background image and URL, and then we're just going to do this, your image, then obviously you select your background right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set the width to 100%. We want it to take up the full width, but the height, what we want to do is we want to take it 90 view height. So what this means, it will take up 90% of the screen, but we say it 90 view height. Okay, more or less 90%. Because your browser on the top part, but let's quickly see how this looks like in our browser. Let's go to Firefox. So we're obviously going to close this. As you can see, there's our image right there. Not very nice. We still need to style it a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so we're all zoomed up, and as you can see, it took out 90 view width of our browser right there. And we're going to start the hero section, but we got our image down. But before we do that, we just need to lighten, darken the image with our overlay. Now let's quickly see how that does. Right, so let's start our overlay. Okay, so we give the yellow overlay. Now, this one is position relative. Now, position absolute is a position that you position absolute within your relative position container. Right. So how we're going to position our overlay, we can just going to say the top 0. So we want it at the top 0, bottom 0, 0. Oh, 0. Okay. So now we're going to give it a background color. Background color. Now this is interesting. So now instead of just a solid color, we're going to give it actually the color a bit of opacity. And how do we do that? We do it with RGBA. Red, green, and blue alpha. Okay, so how are we going to do it? We want it to be black. And the opacity is going to be 0.6. That's from 0 to be completely transparent to 1 to be not transparent. So between there, you've got your values. So this is 60% transparent. So let's see how the overlay looks like. Let's go to Firefox. As you can see, we've darkened it a bit right there. Very cool and nice and easy to do. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm just going to style this one. No, let me just continue. So you guys, this video will be a bit long, but I've shown you guys everything. So, right. So the next thing that we're going to have in there is we're going to have our content wrapper. So I'm just quickly going to do this so that you guys don't have to see me type everything. So content wrapper. So we're going to position that as relative as well. Then we display flags. So basically what the content wrapper is this one. All right, so we're going to display flags. Okay, so that we have our H1 heading on top. Okay, so save it. Right. Just going to pause it here and add other content quickly. Otherwise the video is a bit too long. So basically what I've done is I've changed the font. I've added a font family to the heading. The heading right here, I've changed the font family. And I have changed the fonts as well on this, and give the no border for the button and a margin top. And obviously this is the styles for the font, and this is the hover effect for the font as well. Right, otherwise it will be a bit too long, this video. Okay, so let's continue. So the next section that we're going to add is the work section. Right, so with an ID of work. Right, I'm just quickly going to add the content otherwise the video is a bit too long. Right, so what I've done is I created the work comment right there. Then we had the ID section of work, and then we had our container. Then we have our title. Then we have obviously our work title with awesome kitchen. Then we had our content, and we had our wrapper right there. Then this is our card 1. So in our card 1, what we do is we have a card header, the image of the work. So let me quickly show you how this looks like. Right. So this is our website as it is. And if you scroll down, so we got our 3 different images right here. They're not styled yet, but they're 3 different cards. Okay, so let's quickly style them as well. So let's get it. Yes. Right, so in our CSS, what we're going to do now is, let's go up here. We're going to add in our work. Let's go a bit down. And we're going to add our work 4 and work section. Okay, so let me quickly start coding it, styling it. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do our hashtag, because that's to reference to an ID and work. And we're going to add padding 4 rem. And we're going to do this background color of 282D31. Okay, so this is kind of a gray color, as you can see right there. Quite easy. So what you do is just hover over it, and then this window will be displayed to you. Okay, so next thing that we're going to do is hashtag work title. Okay, so obviously going to have the same font family. So let's add the font family in there, and the color. Well, right. So font size. Let's add the font size of 1.5 rem. So 1 rem is equal to 16 pixels. So it's 16 plus 8, which is 24 pixels. So 0.5 is half of 16, so it's 8. 16 plus 8 is 24. All right. So what we're going to do next is we're going to give it a border of left of 1 pixels, solid of 838485. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is padding. Okay. So this one will be a little bit unique. So we're going to do padding top of 1 rem, left of 2 rem, bottom of 1 rem, and right of 0. Okay. So top, clockwise, top, left, bottom, and right. Okay. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to add a margin bottom of 3 rem. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to pause it here and add the other ones. Otherwise, like I said, video too long. All right, so all we did now is the work wrapper. Let me show you. So the work, ID of work, and the work wrapper. So because there's 3 different cards, let me just show you the card 1, then 2, and 3. So what we want to do is we want to display this as flags so they can be next to each other. So that's what we have done. So flags, and a flags row direction means row. So we want them to be, instead of underneath each other, we want them to be on the right side next to one another. Okay. And then the justified content means we want to space them evenly. So if they're next to each other, we just want them to be equal width between each other evenly. And then a column gap is the spaces between them. We want it to be 2 rem, and then obviously the color of that. So that's what we quickly have done. So let's see how this looks like so far. Okay, so nothing pretty, but they're next to each other. But we haven't obviously styled the images yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. You guys are doing very well for becoming this far so long. So let's continue and change it. Okay, what I've done is I just changed the padding on the left hand side. Just changed to 1 rem. Okay, so this top, right, bottom, left, and obviously this one we just want to make 1 rem as well. Okay, so I made 2 there for the right. It's incorrect. I want it 0 right there. Okay, right. So let's move on, and I'm just gonna style quickly the images and things like that so that it doesn't take too long. So I'm just going to pause it here and add it quickly. All right, I quickly added that. What we did with the images, we just give it a width and a height of 100%. So that means it needs to stay within the boundaries of our card header. And what we have done is we added the font family and obviously the font sizes. So that's quite easy. So you don't need to see me do all of this. All right, so let's save it and see how it looks like in our Firefox browser. Let's go there. And voila. So this is, we got our 3 images next to each other. So basically if we press this, let me just show you guys. So unnecessary typing that I just kind of want you guys to avoid to see me doing it. But let me just zoom this in a bit. You see this part here, that's our header. Let me just go here, make it a bit bigger. So you see this is our card header. Now our image, if we want to constrain it to be just to stay within our card header, we're just going to give it like obviously the width and the height. Right, so then we give it that image the width and the height just to be 100% of that container of it. Okay, right, so let's add our next section. Okay, we're almost done. All right, the next section that we're going to add is called the services section. But let's leave it like that. And then we're going to obviously give it an ID. So section with an ID of services. This. Okay, so I'm not going to let you guys see me typing everything. So I'm just going to quickly add the content right there. Okay, so all I've done, just added the container class, the utility class that we have, and then we obviously added our title right there with our service title with our servers and some dummy text there as well. And then we have our services wrapper. Right, so then we have 6 different cards, as you guys have seen what we have done in the previous video. And the previous section, sorry, not video. So there's our 6 cards, and every card have its own content. So the reason why I do that, so that we can display them. You will see in a sec. Okay, so in this one, instead of displaying them flags like what we did before, as you can see, there's 6 of them. Instead of displaying them in flags, what we're going to do is but before we do that, let's go up here. We add another section of services, table of content. So we go move down a bit, and then we add it right here. So this makes it easier for anyone dealing with your code, because you might not be the one that's going to come and service your code once you do the website. So it just makes it easier for them or yourself to be able to maintain and look after your code. Right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add services. And obviously, first thing we're going to do is we're going to give the background color of DF. Just 6 of those, yes. Okay, and then we're going to give it a padding of 4 rem top and bottom and 0 left and right. Okay, next thing we do, this is now where the new content comes in. So services, I'm just going to take it a little bit slower. So what you obviously can do is you can pause the video and you can type in the content yourself. So, and then what you can do is instead of flags, we're going to do a display of grid. Okay, so what this does is it gives you the option to say grid, template, columns, repeat 3. So we want to repeat it 3 times 1 fraction. Right, so let's do this column. me just add this content quickly. So just like this. Right, so we added a column gap and things like that. So let's quickly see how this looks like in the browser. So let's open Firefox. Right, so this is our website so far. Let's refresh it. So as you can see, this is our content that we had for the grid. So we're gonna the 3, 1 fraction. Okay, so that's basically what happened here. All right, so 3 times 1FR. So if you put in 2 times 1FR, it will only be 2 columns, 2 parts. I don't know how to say it right now. Okay, but anyway, I'm just going to add quickly some more styling, and that's it. Let's go back to VS Code. So I'm just going to add some more styling. So I'm just going to pause it there and add more styling, and I'll see you after this. All right, that was quite a bit of code. So what we've done is there's obviously our services. On what I've done inside its own service card, I displayed it as flags, and I added some styling there as well. I styled the icons, and I added the font for the H3, and yes. Okay, so let's see how this looks like in our browser. As you can see right there, so we got our, just to kind of distinguish the styling between them, and everything looks good. Very, very nice. Right, so the last thing we're going to add is our footer there. And for the ones that might be wondering how to get the code, let me just show you. This is quite handy. So if you, let me just, so what I will do is I'm just going to go slowly over all the HTML so that you can just pause the video and just copy it from there. So I'm just going to go slowly down. So this was our first hero section. This was our work section. So let me just show you guys this. So I'm just going to go slowly down so that you guys can copy the information. So the best thing to do is kind of to type everything yourself so that you can learn, get muscle memory, build up some muscle memory as well. So I'm just going to do this. This is the card 2, card 3. You can obviously just pause the video right here so that you can copy the text right there. Right, so the next one that we have is our services section. Then we have services right there. Pause it obviously as I go along. So this is our service card 1. Pause it and copy the service 1 there. This is service part 2. Copy. Service part 3. Service card 4. Service card 5. Service card 6. Right. So I just want to show you guys something in here. So in order to add an icon, you just type in the I class, and obviously you copy that part there, but I want to show you how to do that quickly. I didn't show you guys as the video is almost an hour. That's why I wanted to kind of speed it up, but I have to show you how to get this done. Okay, so let's quickly go to our browser. Okay, so what you do is you go to Font Awesome. You click on it. And what you do is you click on the icons. Then you choose the free option or the paid option, depends. But I just want the free ones, and I type in here building. Alright, so I choose whatever building you want to choose. You can choose whatever you want. Then you can click on the icon. Okay. And then you'll see this part right there. This top part right here. let me zoom in a bit more. You'll see this right there. You just click on it, then it copies it for you. Right. So then you obviously paste that into your HTML. Okay, so let's go to our HTML. And all you do is you come this part and you just copy and paste it right there so that you can quickly change it to whatever you want it to be. Right, so the last part that we're going to do is we're going to add our footer section. Okay, so let's quickly do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our footer. And then you just type in footer. That's it. And then we're going to add obviously our container. And we're going to put a p tag with a span. DT kitchens. And do this just to kind of make it look a little bit better. And then we're going to just say copyright, ampersand, copy, yeah, and obviously 2021, what the year. Right, so then we're just going to add a little bit styling to that as well. So let's go to our top part and 6-point footer. Let's go to the bottom. I will do the same for the footer as well, for the styling CSS, so that you guys can copy everything. So I'll just pause obviously the video right there. So for the footer, it's quite easy. I'm just going to copy and paste this in here so to make it quick and easy. I just changed the font size, that, and the background color, and added some padding. Obviously the footer, the container, and the coloring there. Right, so that's it. So let me quickly go up, and as we go down, you can obviously pause the video. I'm just going to go slowly, and you can just pause it to kind of copy all the necessary information. That. So this is what our overlay part. I really don't want the videos to be too long because people don't like very long videos, but I'm trying to squeeze a lot of information in there for you guys. If you guys don't mind, please leave me in the comment section what you want change, or must I type everything out for you, or is it fine how I've done it, or you don't mind longer videos if you can get all the information. And that. Okay, so let's see how this looks like in the browser. Go to Firefox, close this, right, and there we have it. Okay, so we got our copyright there, right there at the bottom. We've got our grid system and everything. If you have any questions, guys, please let me know. Then I will try and answer. If you get stuck somewhere, I will try and answer you and things like that. Okay, so yes, let me just see, everything works, everything is there. Read more, and as some homework, just add obviously your own about our services and contact us page right there. Okay, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you dislike the video, please give it a dislike, and some constructive feedback, how I can improve this video. And yes, I really appreciate it. I like making this video for you guys to learn. I really enjoy it. So I want you guys to get a lot of knowledge and things like that as possible. And yes, just obviously improve your skill and things like that. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.